Bryce Harper walked out, so then I was like, I keep saying that's like the cart girl in golf when she pulls up. I know I'm not going to hit one then. And I hit like 9 or 10 out.
Did Bryce Harper have the decency to say something to you, congratulate you on the 9 or 10 bombs that you hit?
Oh, he was as taken back by it as I was. I was as shocked as anybody.
Here at 6th and Peabody, here on Hot Mic. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
Congrats on all the success.
Thank you, man. It's going well.
You really drive those cars in the video?
I did, yeah. There was some of it that we were in front of a green screen. I had somebody call me out on that, but the actual driving scenes, they let me drive it around a little bit.
Not bad. Chad, you know anyone named like Duckman other than this
I don't. There's some duck hunters in my family, Riley, but none that have earned the name Duckman the way you have. This is a big part of your upbringing, right?
Yeah, I really, my dad didn't hunt, so it was kind of odd that I got that into it. I was real into playing sports. I played football, baseball, and basketball growing up. And if you weren't playing sports or in school, you were working. My dad built houses, so I had to work. So I had to find some kind of hobby that I could, and I started duck hunting. And in Northeast Alabama, we're not just covered up with ducks. Not a lot of people hunted. This was before Duck Dynasty and all that stuff got out and it became popular, But, yeah, it's stuck with me this long, I guess.
Well, to the amount of time it takes to be a Division I athlete, much less a quarterback at that position, the way you were at Jacksonville State, to somehow come from that, and you talked about the time it takes to play as many sports as you were playing, but to have music as a passion also, what was the time allotment like throughout your upbringing of even just listening to music along with playing and practicing sports to where both have to be such a passion for you?
Well, to be a successful Division I athlete, which I hardly was, it takes a lot of work. I was music for me was I always enjoyed music.
See, I would have loved to have been an unsuccessful Division I athlete too. So that you were living the dream. I mean, you were at least a Division I athlete.
I always say my music career started when my football career went down because I was going out and staying out in these bars all night, and I was having trouble making it to class in the morning, and 5:30 workouts in the morning. But music for me was just something me and my granddaddy Buford did when we were around each other. My granddaddy Lyndon was more like sports and hunting and fishing, and my granddaddy Buford was really into old country music. So we'd sit around and play when at his house, and never really thought anything would come from it. And when I decided that college wasn't for me, I was playing in bars all night every night, and that was kind of where my music career started.
Your grandfathers, did they like the music or the sports better for you?
Well, so my granddaddy Lyndon was a big sports guy. Never missed a game, and my granddaddy Buford was probably the opposite of that because I remember he came to a scrimmage one time when I was at Jacksonville State, and he told me I should quit because I got popped pretty hard a few times,
Yeah.
So it was different, and they lived a mile from each other. I saw them both every day, so it was cool to have those two different sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
They always say athletes want to be musicians, musicians want to be athletes. When you're both, and you've experienced both, now do you kind of feel like I'm really into the athletic side of it now? That looks pretty cool. The guys who are playing professionally, how does that balance out?
It's funny because I've got so many buddies that play professional ball or have, and the similarities in your lifestyle is kind of crazy, especially when you're coming up as a country music artist because there is so much competition in the sense it's such a battle to stay relevant, to get those opportunities that, for television or award shows or whatever that is. A radio play, and it's the same way with baseball. There's so many young guys coming up, and if you're in your late 20s and you're performing like a guy that's 22 right out of school, he's probably going to get that job. So it's crazy how similar they are. But I think I missed sports for about the first 6 or 7 years. Now I know it would hurt too much to do it, so I'm glad I'm where I am.
Well, you say it would hurt so much, but you're 3 for 3 in Major League ballparks hitting a home run. Is this stat correct right now? This is current Riley Green we're talking about, not 22-year-old Riley Green, too.
Yeah,
is that right?
The sad thing is I can hit a baseball way further now than I could when I was playing.
Wow.
It really was an accident. We had a show in the Phillies stadium after a ball game, and they got asked us to come hit batting practice, and I sort of thought, I might hit some line drives. I told my camera guy, make me look cool. And Bryce Harper walked out, so then I was like, I keep saying that's like the cart girl in golf when she pulls up. I know I'm not going to hit one then. And I hit like 9 or 10 out. And, I mean, they were going 400, like
this was your day.
That's the best way I can describe it. For whatever reason, it was going on that day, And so, of course, we go to Cincinnati, and they asked me to come by and hit over there. So I go, and it was a lot more work to get 2 or 3 out that day. It wasn't flying like it did there, but I got some out there. And then we went to Tampa Bay, and I hit some out in Tropicana. I've noticed who throws the BP makes a big difference.
Yeah,
Oh, I bet. The consistency of it, too.
Well, and baseball fans are huge country music fans also. Did Bryce Harper have the decency to say something to you, congratulate you on the 9 or 10 bombs that you hit
Oh,
in front of him?
He was as taken back by it as I was. I was as shocked as anybody. But yeah, man, he sat out there and watched us take a whole round of batting practice, and I wished I would have quit after the first one because I hit about 60 or 80 balls, and I wasn't moving much on stage that night for the show. I was pretty sore.
So we're looking at the cover right here. How much input do you have on this? Or do you scrutinize over this? Do you sit up and think about this is going to stick around for a while?
It's one of those things where if I let myself, I could.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've never not listened to a song because I didn't like the album art. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like one of those things where it does matter. And, as a songwriter and trying to be creative, you want to come up with things that are really you, think express what you're trying to say and all that. But at the same time, I don't really care. So it's kind of keeping myself in that spot where I put a hand in it and kind of direct management on what I want to do, and then I let them kind of come up with it.
See, you like the old school country like I do. I grew up on a farm. I remember driving the 85 GMC Sierra Classic, listening to Garth Brooks on cassette. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know what those cassette covers look like, though, by the album and the music, right? Like, if I'm an artist, I'm thinking about that, too. Like, it's got to me, there's a connection there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it meant so much more back then because you actually had a physical something that you bought.
Like a newspaper, too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I had those big binder, like, CD cases.
Yes.
And if it didn't have that artwork on it, I knew what page whatever was in, and I could recognize that album I was looking for quickly when I was driving down the road. Yeah, it's a different time now. But I still try to, I put a lot of thought into the track listing on my albums, where I used to listen to a CD front to back, and I know a lot of kids don't really do that anymore, but I still like try to make it a journey,
A story.
You take those CD albums and you'd shove it underneath the front of your front seat. Remember, hide it there where people didn't see it out to break into your car. You'd have all your CDs there when you're driving. It's amazing, Riley, with your music, what's old is new again in a lot of ways. And I feel that way about your sound and your songs, that there's a lot of people that are craving nostalgia right now, right? That are craving the good old days. And I feel like you've capitalized on that in a lot of ways. Is that kind of how you see your music?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I certainly had a lot of traditional influences. My granddaddy was a big, like, Merle Haycuff and George Jones and Roy Acuff, Merle Haggard, George Jones. And that was long before my time as a kid. So me sitting around 12, 13 years old playing those songs was kind of, it wasn't really normal. So for me, I know a lot of those influences are in there. And if it's not making a comeback, it sure seems like it is to me. I don't know how I'd have a career if it wasn't, because that's kind of where I live at, is in that more traditional sounding country.
You're from Jacksonville, Alabama, played football at Jacksonville State. It's still a big part of who you are. As you get more famous and your music gets more popular, do you have more freedom to reconnect with home and be around Jacksonville, or does that freedom kind of shrink as you get more popular with touring and responsibilities? We're here in downtown Nashville right now. How does that part of your life still connect?
It's the opposite of that. The better things are going, the more busy you are, and I certainly try to get home when I can. I'm going to try to go catch a ball game. I always try to catch a ball game or two every year. Fortunately, Coach Rodriguez at Jacksonville State has started making all the games in October weekday games, so they're televised. So I get to watch them, on television, but also I can slip home to one every once in a while. It's nice that I'm able to help out the university. I found that a lot of my demographic is that college-age student. So for me to go down there and talk about Jacksonville State, like in scenarios like this, or go back and do a benefit concert every once in a while, it seems like it's really helpful for the university, which is nice to be able to do that.
Wasn't it Jacksonville State that beat FSU or something like that?
They
beat Florida State on that last-minute play.
That's right, yeah.
Beat Ole Miss when I was there, double overtime. They about beat Auburn a couple of years.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Known for the upset.
Hutton and I always joke about the moment we realized we weren't going to make it to professional sports. Sometimes it comes earlier in life than others. I was 13U AAU when I saw two future NBA players dunk at 13 years old. I'm like, probably not going to be for me, my dream of playing basketball. What was your moment? Because you made it all the way to college football. Was it when Ryan Perrilloux transferred in to Jacksonville State? When was that moment you realized I'm probably not going to be in the NFL?
That was a pretty big moment. I remember being at 7-on-7, and they called me in the office and said, "We just signed Ryan Perrilloux." And I said, "From LSU?" I said, yeah. I said, well, I'll get my stuff out of my locker. And he was that good of a player. But, something about Jacksonville, at that time, we were Division I AA, so you could transfer from a Division I school and not sit out a year, where you had to sit out if you transferred straight to Division I. So we got a lot of players every spring that were really good ball players, from SEC schools, whatever it was, where they got hurt or got in trouble. And so I saw a lot of really good players come through when I was there.
You mentioned on the transfer portal. That's what me think of how even it is.
Well,
right
when
now.
Auburn has seasons, because I'm an Auburn fan, when Auburn has seasons like they do, it takes a lot of pressure off me because then I don't really care. It's like that they might beat Alabama. That's the only thing. You never know.
What do you think about Nick Saban saying that Tennessee's a bigger rival than Auburn for Alabama? That even Greg McElroy was asked during the Tennessee game about it. He just kind of laughed it off.
I missed the context. I saw the article.
He said that
it means more to the players.
He never had to get his players to focus and play their best against Tennessee, but that the Auburn game was more of a struggle to get their focus. And he said Tennessee is the biggest rival to Alabama for that reason. And I'm also kind of thinking, though, it may be because that's the last game before you're going to a playoff. If you're Alabama, so that was harder for
SEC
him
title or something.
to refocus them, and they had less success against Auburn.
Yeah, that sounds like an excuse to me because Auburn, the years that Auburn upset Alabama were the years that it was truly an upset. Like they should not have, Alabama had a season that was, undefeated, one loss, whatever, and Auburn was like kind of just drifting by. Then they'd mess around and beat them. So,
well, the one year they were the favorite was Cam Newton, right? 2010 is the only time I can think that Auburn was really a big favorite in that game, and they won.
Yep.
What's your favorite drink at Riley Green's Duck Blind?
They got some drinks named after some of my songs in there the other day. They had one called "That's a Mistake." I don't even know what was in it, but that's a great name for a drink.
Yeah.
That like the mop bucket, where they take everything that's at the bar and put it into one shot. That would be perfect for it.
It could be.
And we're officially saying that Auburn is Alabama's biggest rival.
Have to.
Right? Got to be the biggest for both.
I don't even know how it could be considered that they're not. I'll put it like this: after the Kick 6 game, there's no bigger rivalry to me.
Yeah, Tennessee Alabama is a big deal.
The fact that Saban is saying it,
but Alabama, that's what got everybody's attention.
Yeah,
was
but
everybody on set was like, "What?"
I know.
You got to think though. Saban had that little personal story with Lane Kiffin being up there too. And that was a little different.
True.
Yeah.
He never had any beef with Auburn coaches that I can remember while he was there.
Hard to have beef with Saban. Whatever he backs it up by winning.
It was easy to have beef with him when he was kicking everybody's ass, but now that he's on TV, I'm good with him. He's great.
Riley, good to see you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, y'all too. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. There's Riley Green here in studio with us. Chad, check out the album and the
I've
bar.
already checked it out.
You
It's
checked
terrific.
out the bar?
Yeah, I've not. I checked it out. It only happened this last month. I checked it out when it was Winners and Losers. Now Winners is Riley Green's Duck Blind. We'll check it out.
It'll be the first time I walk into Winners. Will be Riley Green's Duck Blind.
I'm sure a lot of people probably this will be their first time.
That's right. Stay tuned. More coming here on Hot Mic. It's our conversation with Riley Green here on Hot Mic with Honey Withrow at OutKick.com/watch. Chad,
that guy's stock, by the way, just skyrocketing.
Continues. Well, he rakes on the diamond.
Yes.
He said he hit 8 or 9 home runs at the Philly Stadium.
Dominated the Folds of Honor celebrity softball game, from what I hear.
And chicks
incredible athlete.
Dig the long ball, for sure.
Chicks dig the long ball, and if you can mix the long ball with his looks and ability to just pick up a guitar and start singing and playing, it's every 15-year-old boy's dream is to be Riley Green.
I think every man's dream.
Yeah, and every 60-year-old man's dream. You're right, Hudden.
Go
back.
Every woman's dream is to be with Riley Green. Megan Maroney, I would presume one of them.
Yeah.
With what is transpired here.
They haven't made it Instagram official yet.
Not official.
They're considering it possibly. They're just friendly.
Yeah, but she needs one of the Instagram users' shirts that's shirtless Riley Green, apparently.
Well, there's so many rumors out there. One is that fans picked up that she posted an Instagram photo in St. Bart's on a vacation, and they think it's Riley Green's watch on the boat in the background that's laying next to her.
Yeah.
Like they're putting these little Easter eggs out there. She's wearing Riley Green's. I watched an entire Instagram reel that was a woman explaining this is Riley Green's hat from 2 weeks ago. And then she's wearing the exact same hat at Duck Blind. We've been there.
Yeah.
Riley Green's bar here in Nashville. There's a lot of internet sleuths out there that are getting the job done in reporting this. I will say, I know, and I can't.
Pablo Torres?
I can't say who, and I'm not Pablo Torres, so I'm not going to do the reporting on it. I know of an A-list Hollywood actress who has attempted to date Riley Green.
Attempted?
attempted and was turned down.
So he's no Bill Belichick. He is the alpha.
Well,
is what you're saying.
When I tell you who it is off air, you'll understand that maybe he is Bill Belichick, and I'll explain why.
Okay, the mother's involved.
There is a mother involved. There is a mother involved, I will say.
Clay would have you know that MILF is the most searched for.
All I can say is that there's a mother involved, not his mother, but there is a mother involved in this story.
Yes. Well, as that they're always involved in the stories.
Some would say a mother that I'd like to
While you're here, we hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe at the OutKick YouTube
finish
channel.
the sentence on that.
Join us for Hot Mike Gundy Withrow, 4 p.m. Eastern at OutKick.com/watch.